Hi everyone, today I want to talk about media theory. I'm gonna be doing a few videos on media theory in the next couple of, I'm gonna say weeks, but it might end up being months depending on how much isolation kicks my motivation in the ass like it has been doing for the past couple of weeks. But before I talk about like actual proper media theory things, I wanna do this video. And this video is about why media theory is important in the first place. Media theory is so often looked on as like a DOS subject or a soft subject, something that doesn't really matter. And this is amongst like not only the public and like news institutions, but also like educational institutions don't even look at media studies to be a proper subject, even though they offer it as a subject. So I wanted to talk about that before we talked like actual proper media theory, because if you're one of those in the mindset that the media is not an important subject, if you're one of those that thinks it's a nothing DOS useless subject that doesn't actually teach you anything, you're going to miss out on some really cool lessons and really cool topics in the next few videos. And I want as much people to get stuff out of this as possible. I mean, those next few videos are going to be great. There's some real good shit in there. I haven't written them yet, but like the point of these videos isn't like to tell you you're looking at a film wrong or to tell you you're playing a game wrong. The aim of the game here is to help you experience the things you like in a different, maybe more holistic way, like taking in every element of it from every different context, from what the developer intended, what the writer intended, to what was received instead of intended, because a message is, like we'll talk about this later, a message is very much a two-way system. There is what is sent and what is received may not be the same thing. But like I said, all that's for later down the line. Today we're talking about media studies, why it's important, why people don't think it's important, and sort of I'm going to start with some history, why we're in this position in the first place. So let's go! In 2008, Cambridge University advised its pupils not to take more than one of these list of A-level courses. In Britain, you take 3 A-levels, in case you don't know. A-levels is what you do between 16 and 18, usually. Before you go to university, Cambridge is a university, you take 3, standard usually. People applying for Cambridge were told not to take any more than one of this list of 20 subjects. They said if they saw 2 A-levels in this list, you would not be normally considered acceptable. This list included things like accounting, design and technology, information communication technology, and media studies. But it didn't start there. The toffs at Cambridge didn't just decide that the media wasn't worth studying. Like I said, the education system and society as a whole have been underplaying the importance of art, humanities and social sciences for years. Here in the UK, people refer to them as Mickey Mouse degrees. A Mickey Mouse thing is often a derogatory term to try and minimize the importance of it, and a Mickey Mouse degree is a degree that the speaker deems to be a waste of time and money and resources. The most popularly cited example here is something called David Beckham studies, and people are like, oh, they're offering a degree in David Beckham studies, aren't they terrible and waste of time? When upon like if you actually studied it, it wasn't a degree in David Beckham studies at all. It was a module that was offered to sports science and sociology and media studies students that discussed the sociological importance of football in British and worldwide culture. And I'm in Britain and I'm also in the world. Football is very important and impacts culture in a big way. So that there's a fair bit of value to the module. I hate football, but I would have taken that module, you know? But the media loves to trot out this argument every few years, putting way too much focus on STEM subjects and painting anyone that studies anything artistic or it's like soft sciencey as either lazy or a dosser or a loony lefty. And ironically, if people actually took media studies more seriously, they could spot these patterns, they could spot what the media was doing, and they would be able to, like, you know, overcome this wave of dislike for the arts. But hey ho, because it's not like this is a whole new concept. Like, according to Loughborough University, people considered English to be a controversial subject in the 1930s. They called it useless and soft, and the real education was studying classics, a topic that tends to nowadays be only studied by politicians and other social elites. But I'm sure there's no classist component to this at all, is there? There's definitely not articles from the heads of private schools condemning state schools for offering useless media qualifications. Is there? No. No, not at all. Can't be a thing. Is it on the screen yet? I hope it's on the screen now. I'm editing this. Who am I talking to? If I was to postulate just a little bit, and I'll get back to facts later, I'm going to postulate a bit now. I would suggest that maybe, just maybe, the constant push for productivity under this current system is what's pushing everyone to devalue arts, humanities, and social sciences. Because we're being like forced to turn into sort of productivity droids instead of, like, you know, thinking. Because that way we'll be able to make more money for whoever's, you know, one step ahead of us on the hierarchy. This is combined by and influences the, like, social capital. I hate the term social capital, but I'm going to say it anyway. Social capital that certain degrees hold. Like, a bachelor's in chemistry just sounds more important than a bachelor's in media studies, even though they are on the same level, like, educationally, and they are, as much as you can compare, two vastly different skill sets, about as difficult as each other. But this video is about the media and not my anti-capitalist postulations, so unfortunately we're going to have to move on. Let's talk about why the media is important. Possibly one of the most important subjects for right now. And that is due to the immense influence that the media has on our society, both explicitly and implicitly. And I'll admit, I'm cribbing a little bit from Pop Culture Professor right now, so go watch her video on everything being political for more examples of explicit and implicit messaging. I will take a look at a couple of examples from both explicit and implicit, but like I said, she's got way more than I have. First, explicit, because it's the easiest one, and we're going to start with diamonds. Picture this. It's 1948 and you're Cecil Rhodes, the embodiment of colonialism, and the founder of the De Beers Corporation. You mined all these diamonds from under a farm in South Africa that you made your buddy, the monarch, bully the original owners into selling you, and now you own them all. Unfortunately, no one's buying. Something about a Great Depression? Yeah, it doesn't sound fun anyway. You're searching for an advertising campaign that will motivate men to buy diamond rings, and in a glimmer of hope, a copywriter brings you a sheet of paper with "A diamond is forever" scribbled on it. Jackpot. With this campaign, De Beers not only boosted the sales of their diamond rings, but they also literally invented the concept of the engagement ring. Before this advert and this ad campaign, like, you didn't have to buy an engagement ring, let alone a diamond engagement ring, when you got engaged. Whereas 3 years later, in 1951, 8 out of 10 US brides had diamond engagement rings. And today, well, it's been so enshrined in the annals of tradition, and until us millennials kill it like we kill everything else, it will continue to be a mainstay of wedding campaigns. Campaigns? That's not the right word. But of course, they aren't the only company to ever have conducted a successful ad campaign. So let's turn to a more recent one. Let's talk about The Sun. More importantly, how it was The Sun what won it. It's The Sun what won it was a headline that appeared on the front page of the United Kingdom newspaper The Sun in April of 1992. And it's one of those things that's kind of commonly brought up when we talk about the link between and the influence of the press over politicians here in the UK. Let me break it down for you. The run-up to the 1992 election in the UK, The Sun rallied hard against Labour leader Neil Kinnock. Polls were pointing towards a hung parliament, and on election day, The Sun, which was at the time the country's most widely distributed tabloid, published this as their front page headline, obviously implying that a Labour victory and a Kinnock premiership would be so bad that everybody in the country would flee elsewhere. And what do you know? 21-seat victory for the Conservatives. Now, I'm not saying The Sun was solely responsible for this victory, despite what they printed the next day, The Sun what won it. But they definitely had some effect on the voting public, and it's not just a one-off either, there's a pattern. By 1997, The Sun had switched political alliances and now backed Tony Blair's Labour Party. My script says Toby Blair. His name wasn't Toby Blair, it was Tony Blair. But anyway, by 97, they backed Labour and they backed Tony Blair. And surprise, surprise, he won by a massive landslide. Then by 2010, they had flipped back to the Conservatives and printed this garish to David Cameron on their front page in 2010, and they did the same thing in 2015 using the infamous Ed Miliband bacon sandwich photo to persuade people to vote for the Conservatives. In every instance, the party that the Sun backed ended up winning the election, and they backed them through a campaign of not only really outrageous front page ads like the ones we've seen, but also series and like loads and streams and streams of favourable articles for their party and smear campaigns against the leaders of the opposite parties. They're still doing it to this day, and it's undeniable that the Sun has a huge influence on the UK political landscape, the same way that De Beers had an influence on the wedding landscapes. So it's undeniable that both of these campaigns had significant changes on society, and if this campaign can, then the doors are wide open for any other avenues of persuasion, and some that may even be unintentional, and some that may be so subtle you don't know if they are. I recently had a conversation on my friend Dummer and Libris' channel where we talked about the gender presentation of Pokemon. One of my points in that video that we made was that the majority of feminine presenting Pokemon fall into one of two categories, where they're either a motherly caring model or the overly sexualized model. And I don't think this is an intentional choice by Game Freak. I don't think they want to make a bunch of sexy women Pokemon. The message that they give, unintentionally but still there, is that femininity only exists in these two models, and it isn't just Pokemon. If you've watched my video on Bugs Bunny, you know that this is a thing in media, cartoon media, kids media especially, and I'm just retreading old ground here, but this is very clearly a problem, because if a little girl sees all of these cartoons and all of these games aimed at her that only tell her that she can be a mother or she can be a sexy lady, then she's not gonna look for other options. She is gonna be like mentally bullied down into these two options, because if you've only ever tried strawberry and chocolate, you'll never know that your favourite ice cream flavour is pistachio. For more examples of subtle implicit messaging, please go and check out Pop Culture Professor's video on everything is political in the media. I've got an iCard up there. She went over some really good stuff in her video, and I don't want to rip her off completely, so I'm just going to stop here and implore that you all go watch that video. But the more you understand about how the media forms messages and how they affect the media consumer, the more you can critically analyse these messages and evaluate their contents and their worth, and be more conscious about whether or not they affect you as much as they could. Now, I'm not saying that studying the media will give you like an impenetrable shield of deconstruction, because as we all know, you are not immune to propaganda. But it can very much, it's like with anything, if you go in with knowledge of what's happening, you will have more control over the situation. You'll be able to critically analyse the media you consume, notice the bad parts, and be conscious of them. Now, there's often a joke within people studying media that it makes you hate all movies and all TV shows, which brings me to something that's been rattling around my head for a while that I just want to chuck in here and get off my chest. It's fine to like a thing and acknowledge that it has problems. It is okay if you're aware of the issues in your favourite games, favourite films, favourite TV shows. Blind approval and acceptance of every message within a film just because you like it is really problematic, to say the least. For example, there's a band I quite like called Ludo, and they have a song called Go Get a Greg. It's about a sleazy, greasy waster that's attempting to hit on his new neighbour in the worst way. However, since it's sung from his perspective, the song somewhat rationalises the gross things Greg is doing. But obviously neither the singer nor the band endorse these gross sleazy actions, and you can see that by watching the video. But if you just listened to the song and you like the band like I do, it would be very easy for me to just accept the base level message that being a gross creeper is an acceptable way to act. For another example, I'm a massive fan of Pokemon. But then why did I make that video with Libris just pointing out all the issues? Well, because they're there and they're worth talking about. Like, and most importantly, my liking of Pokemon shouldn't cloud my judgment of everything that Pokemon does. In fact, I would say that critically analysing a piece of media that I like only makes me enjoy and appreciate it more. Once I can appreciate every facet of a piece of media, maybe had a discussion about how other people interpret it, I feel I appreciate it all the more. So yeah, why is the media important? So you can understand how it influences you, intentionally and unintentionally, explicitly and subtly, and how it influences society around you. And secondarily, it just lets you enjoy the things you enjoy on a deeper level. And that's fun. I've been doing it for years, trust me. So that's what the next few videos you see are going to be from me. They're going to be all things going as intended. They're going to be sorts of intros into different areas of media studies. We're going to be covering like narrative structures and semiotics and you know, representation, things like that. Basically, I'm going to go through the syllabus that I used to teach and you know, make little intro videos for those. So look out for those. If you like this video and you like the idea of the upcoming media theory, you know, crash course, then you know, likes and comments and subscribe boxes are all done there. I would really appreciate you doing those things. And if you really want to support me, there's a link to my Patreon down in the corner as well. We have some great tiers ranging from $5 to $20 a month if you'd really like to support this channel. And yeah, until next time, I'll catch you on the flippity flop and love you, bye.